What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. It's what day is it? Sunday. Child, one thing I'm going to do is not know what day it is over here. It's Sunday. I hope everybody had a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas. We moving on into this new year. Do y'all have New Year's resolutions? New Year's resolutions? I do. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. People are always like, I'm not planning a New Year's resolution because people don't ever stand by what they say they're going to do. Maybe not. Maybe you fall off a little bit, but at least if you have some type of goal or something, set yourself off at the beginning of the year to do it. I don't know. I think it changes your energy a little bit. You get a little bit in a frame of mind of yeah, let's get this done. Is that where you at? What's up, Elsid? Elsid says to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that, Elsid. She be out here. She was just over there being unscripted. And when I tell you unscripted is a key, it's a lot of fun over there. So if you haven't checked out Elsid Unscripted, you might want to go ahead and do that because child is like a new version of Dear Abby. Remember Dear Abby? Some of y'all don't know who Dear Abby is. Hey Jaguar, welcome to the chat. Yeah, have you planned a New Year's resolution? Are you guys resolutioning? I'm coming in with a resolution from our revolution. So we're gonna start with a revolution. You say you want a revolution. We'll talk about that somewhere else. Um, yes, Dear Abby on steroids for sure. It's so much fun though. Um, so yeah, you got a little time. Just set a little something. Don't put something outlandish out there. Everybody likes to start the year, with a weight loss plan or a healthy eating plan. I'm no different. You know why that is? I think because over the holidays we fill ourselves with so much trash every year. I'm like, I'm not getting into all that holiday thing. Next thing you stuffing yourself with pies and cookies. I don't want another cookie. I don't want another pie. Y'all, like when you first come over here, please understand I can't see. And these YouTube's names be having me, in a chokehold. Faithful Jones, 8489. Welcome to the channel. If you're new over here, don't forget to like the button, subscribe to the channel. But yeah, I feel like after you stuff yourself with all that garbage, then you're like, maybe I should eat an apple and a salad, relax a little bit. So that's where I'm at. I want to start healthy. One thing I've learned, we don't have a timeline T at the end of the year. Now, I'm planning something, for the end of the year, timeline T. It probably won't be live because there's a lot to cover, but there will be a New Year's version of the timeline T. But yeah, all I've learned this past year is that I can't eat food from anywhere. So I need to figure out, what my nutrition game plan is. I've gone on for a minute. We're over here at Ready to Love. It is season 8, season 11, episode 8. Honestly, I feel like I'm back at the mixer. Y'all, I was over here, trying to figure out which one of these people may have connected for whatever reason. Love, sure, if that's what you came over here, YOLO. But connections can mean so many different things, like friend connections. I'm always like glad to see like who um connects with one another outside of the show. You know what I'm saying? So this made me feel like I was at another mixer. No diets until January 5th. I mean, you know what? January 5th is a date that you have set. You know what I'm saying? I'm not waiting until the 1st. I'm starting tomorrow because tomorrow's Monday and, it just feels chronologically right to get on out there and, start developing some habits before, the new year. But yeah, we over here, we meeting the best friends. I don't have a problem with meeting the best friends. It sure is to me better than meeting the exes, even though these exes that they had last week were actually probably pretty cool. But it's just the multiple, like I need for the dates to be one-on-one. I don't need all three of these people sitting here. Have you ever gone to like one of those job interviews where it's just a group and you don't get a one-on-one and they just be answering random questions? I did that one time and I was like, well, for sure I got this job because they're just in here, trying to hire people who will, stay and come work, I guess. But that's how it feels like. You need, a little more intimacy to focus on one energy. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I didn't like about this date. We're gonna start with Ashante. Um, and also feel like at this point, like, why are we wasting time with people we don't actually, want to chill with? Ashanti has Bello, Cardi, and Steven. And I feel like the only people needed to be here was Bello and Steven. Just because, Cardi, we already established that you the dog, child. You my dog, you my homie, you not my man. So let's don't waste any time over here with this. Um, Steven and Ashante, we know had a little connection, but I also feel like Steven is very good at answering questions. Whose idea was it to talk to all three dudes at the same time? That's what I feel like, Jaguar. I feel like, you can't really get a good read on somebody. And if I'm sitting there with two other girls, like, I'm probably gonna have a stank attitude. So they're not gonna like me because I'm gonna be like, what the hell? I'm not standing over here, trying to clamor for your attention. If you want a one-on-one, then let's talk about that. I already gotta be over here with your ex or whatever, or your best friends. Anyway. Stephen is good at answering questions. He's very laid back. I feel like his questions are honest. That's why they're so easy. I feel like when Stephen answers a question, it's coming from a genuine place about how his, the idea of what he has thought about these things. One of the friends said he needs to be more confident. I think a couple of them said that. I don't know. I don't see that he lacks confidence. I think that he's soft spoken. And again, like we were saying, there's two other dudes there. That's not the vibe. You know what I'm saying? I could shine, but if I'm really trying to get to know you, then, this ain't it. Ashante's friend kept it real concerning Bello's BS. Listen, when I go back to the very first episode, I felt like Bello was coming with a little BS. But you don't know these people. So you can't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know him just based on what the people read on the paper. So I'm like, okay, well, let's see what he's all about. Unpopular opinion, maybe, but I feel like there's a very comparable energy between Bello and Darius. I feel like they move different, but they move the same. You know what I'm saying? Bello is just a little more eloquent with the way he presents his pimping. But it's the realest conversation I seen him have was with Ashley, and it's because he had to step out of like salesman and sell myself. He had to get down to hold on, let me take care of this right quick. You seen his whole energy change. That's not to say that they are not, there's supposed to be a connection because of that. But that was a real moment, I felt like, and that's where you seen Bello not being, the salesman that he is now. As far as what he does for a living, I don't know. Like, I don't know if, I don't know. He came over here talking about, I do this, I do that. And my family is associated with excellence. This is a modern woman issue. Not all men who are reserved lack confidence. Some men are just chill. They aren't intense or energetic. Being mellow doesn't mean lack of confidence. Jaguar, that's what I thought. I wasn't getting that. As we can see through each date, confidence ain't his issue. And I feel like Steven is cute and quiet and charming, and like I said, his conversation seems very genuine, very real. Now, what he's looking for in a woman and all of that, I don't know. And I think, this particular environment makes it complicated to do that because they got to date out loud, you know what I'm saying, with multiple people in the same circle. I feel like men date multiple people, obviously, but we don't have to come commiserate about it at the end of the day. I dated Muslim men. And I had a friend who recently dated a Muslim man. They will ask you to convert. I feel like this right here is probably a big issue within a lot of relationships. Um, religious, I was on Ed like, come on, give the girl a break. But he stood on his business as far as what his household is supposed to look like. Whether you agree with it or not, you need to at least not push it by the side because y'all are all attracted to each other. I think the way Bello speaks with such conviction about his religion, that's very important to him. When he starts talking to her friend, and they had that moment between each other, that's very important to him. So, Ashante is an independent woman, and I don't see her conforming to anything this man is over here saying. I don't care how many cute suits and flowery conversation he has. Um, Bello said he was in real estate and his family has been in that business for years. It seems I did not do a background check because I do not have time for that. I would prefer just taking people for face value. Um, he's also from Canada. So which doesn't mean he's not legit. It just means that, in a different country with different types of rules that, it's probably, true. I would just assume, like I said, unless it all blows up and, as far as I'm concerned, the man is what he said he is. But he's also very, and he carries himself in a way. You know what I'm saying? If you ran across him and conversation, his socialize and what you do and networking and things. These people are real estate too. Ashante at least owns her own business, so you understand. You'll pull out bullshit when you hear it because what you know on your own end. But child, yes, Stephen. I don't think he lacks confidence. Ashante says she needs more romance from Stephen, and her friends were like, "Oh no, girl, you can teach him that." I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with that. I think that romance is something that should be a standard, a bare minimum. I think a man should pursue a woman. So for Bello sitting somewhere talking about she was always talking about talking to someone, I think that's lame. But what did you want her to do? Come make her way over to you? And now Steven and his ex are talking about Ashante will require a little more work. I don't know who he got on his roster, Steven, that doesn't seem like they would require work, but I feel like all of them are require some work. What are you talking about? I feel like romance is just a bare minimum. I shouldn't have to teach you that. Then if you start taking those things and overlooking them, if it's important to you, you end up over here like the Dr. Contessa planning your own 50th birthday party while your husband just get ready. Or like Dr. Simone, who takes care of all the men in her household and can't even get a happy Mother's Day card. You got to make sure these things are standard from the beginning. Nobody trying to be 50 years down the road waiting on romance. Stephen, get off your couch. Sorry. Anyway. Cardi is her dog. So there's really nothing left to say about that. Cardi is sitting over here, I don't know, doing what he's been doing the whole time. We've been confused this whole time about what is Cardi doing here. He's two and a possible. When you playing a game, you need a possible. Cardi is good for two and a possible. Actual facts. Welcome to the chat, KC, JV, IRN. I'm going to just call you KC. When I say KC, I'm talking to you. Because, child, I can't see. Anyway, her friends chose Stephen. I think that Stephen and Ashante make sense because they're both creative. When you look at like their styles, they both got their own thing. They're in that age bracket where, having other children and all of those things, they can travel. I feel like they make sense. But if the man ain't going to be romantical, then, ain't nobody got time to teach him that. Shoot. He grown. He almost 40. At this point in his life, what is his sign? I need to go. I know I will investigate that. By the time I come back to have this conversation again, I will know where most of these people fall on the zodiac sign. I only know a couple few. Shannon. What is Shannon doing over here? She's friends with Mercedes. I think that's very cute. I like Mercedes. I'm glad Mercedes came over here with the same kind of realness she had back when we met her. You can't have it both ways, ladies. If you want high value men, then don't chase. I mean, I feel like it's maybe a lot of men out here that are waiting to be chased. I have never run across that in terms of a relationship. Now, I have made other mistakes, but I've chosen men who like do the nice things. You know what I'm saying? I like flowers. I like candy. I like birthdays and stuff like that, holidays. And, because I'm an acts of service person, I don't, I like to receive, back like we all do, I suppose. I don't think that's necessarily something. It should just be a standard, for goodness sakes. So Shannon has Stephen, Devon, and Darius. And I was like, y'all are playing games over here. At what point why is Darius here? And why is Stephen here? We have not had this conversation not one single time. Yes, Mercedes gave her very good advice because what is happening here? And Devon, who she's had this whole connection with allegedly, where she's in the shower all night with her ear pods on still. What do y'all be talking about? Because he came over and what is wrong with him? I don't understand what Devon got going on. I feel like this is the lady that would have been a really good connection for him, but he's playing reindeer games for real. And the audacity of him. This lovely, smart, beautiful woman sitting here in front of him that are like, y'all are so equally yoked on so many things, but you want to be over here pretending like you about to take Dom somewhere. Plus 4, why are we growing connections? At this point, we about to go to the vacation house. Why are we adding more people? Y'all are just saying numbers for no good damn reason. You barely got one connection and you sitting up here talking about 4. You and Darius both. Y'all are counting connections on Darius. You have Ashley. That's it. That's all. And Devon, you almost had Shannon, but you blew it. I think what you did was came over here and, done yourself in, child. I'm just very confused where all these connections are coming from. Steven talking about she's in his top 3. So then now you got 4 connections too? When has she been in your top 3? Who's not then? Because you was over here making Lauren your baby mama and giving, what's her name? Donnie your last name. And Ashante makes you stutter. So where did Shannon be? Y'all had me, you had me stressed out. My blood pressure was up. I was like, I didn't ask to come to this party. I wanted to go to the party where people were like narrowing things down and figuring things out. Darius been out here making babies and pivoting out of relationships or whatever Darius be doing. And Devon acts like he doesn't even want to be in a relationship. He needs 5 years. Like, I'm just saying, his timeline is ridiculous. How old is he? And then for somebody to be saying you want kids, you better grow the heck up. Did you miss out on something, Devon? Did you miss out on your Dominique in your lifetime? As if y'all be missing it. You don't know what you don't. It always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. I bet you're gonna be feeling it next week. I have a feeling this is your last one. KC says Mercedes gave advice that works for her. Shannon doesn't even know what she wants. She's set in her ways, pearls and being a nurse. It's funny how the women wanted to be top choice, but well, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. Everybody got three connections, but you want me to say, I mean, I guess that's why I say it's a game. Um, and you have to figure out like how to connect with people on a real level, not just a surface level. But I mean, honestly, like, are you gonna be over here opening up for real to all these people? I don't know that Shannon is giving. She doesn't know what she wants, though. Um, I don't feel like she's necessarily been too wishy washy. Hey, Tina. I don't think these people even know the meaning of ready to love connections. Well, hell, do we know? What are they? Please explain, because I thought I knew, but I'm confused. Um, you say Don and Shannon would be good together as they both nerdy. It's all mismatched and crisscrossed. He wants Dominique, who wants Bello, who wants who? Oh yeah, who can't? Bello what? Who wants a son? Yeah, but she can't give him. Man, that summarizes this whole damn season. Amen to that. And now we over here scratching our heads like, what happened? Who brought Darius over here? And like I said, what are they even talking about? I feel like these important conversations, like, what is it that you want? Are you looking for a serious relationship? What does that look like to you? These are questions that should have been asked like a long time ago. Y'all keep talking about how the process is so fast and it's so fast. Well, then ask them damn questions, because all I need is an hour and a half and I could find out a lot. Then we could coast from there on. Steven said a year is enough for him to know if he wants to get married. And I feel like, again, that's because he's thought about it. I think, he does want a family and that kind of thing. And I think a man that wants to get married will, have a timeline. You know what I'm saying? Devon over here talking about, yeah, I want a lot of kids, but child, he don't make sense to me. Shannon is the safe bet to nurture men, but she ain't shown herself to be fun. Every time she's on the screen, I like she again. I mean, but they love that. They're over here, they're talking about wife material. So they're calling her Michelle Obama and Felicia Rashad. This is why I'm not wife material. I don't fall under, clutching my pearls necessarily. But not everybody wants the same kind of wife. Mercedes said they can all go. They can. Um, So there's that. I feel like Shannon was confused as to why Stephen and Darius were there too. They're just adding two people to make it seem like something, when really this could have been a real conversation between Devon and Mercedes and Shannon to see like what's really good. He would have still got kicked off the boat because he's focused on Dominique. Yeah, she's kind of like Cardi, two in a possible. You need to keep one around. You know what I'm saying? So you can get to the island, to the bridge. That's when it turns into something else. It's not even like there's a cash prize at the end. Um, Lauren, I'm confused by where do I begin? Bello came in there and her friends asked the simplest question as to why are you interested in Lauren? And he stammered, and I don't understand. What did he say when he came here? He said he could sit down with politicians and athletes and foster strong relationships, but he can't even answer a simple question like, why do you like her? What do you like about her? Most men get turned off by the type of men. Wait, say that again. Most men get turned off by the type of men a woman goes for. I'm confused. What'd you say, Jaguar? Shannon is cooked, to be honest. It's already past the halfway point, and she doesn't have a man who considers her as their top connection. She doesn't last long based on the. I mean, if I'm being honest, I feel like, work with me here. I feel like her best connection was Ed. They align on their spiritual connection. She's smart. He gets all excited by that whole Michelle Obama, Felicia Rashad thing. Um, they had a connection where they were touchy feely, kind of, where they were going somewhere. So I don't know what happened there, but if I was to say after this whole process where you can, relax, relate, release, um, I don't know what his ex is like, but I feel like out of all the men here, Ed was probably her connection on a real level. Because you got to be like physically connected, attracted to somebody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that that's what all of this other. But she was like giggling when this man, what's his name, Devon, put on the shirt with his taco meat out. Um, Yeah, I think Ed and Shannon would have been able. Okay, Lauren is over here not connected to anybody. This man Bello can't even get out of his mouth what qualities he likes in her, and I was done with it after that because I was like, now he's stuttering for what? He's burnt out. He's been trying to navigate all these dates and things, and I feel like Bello probably thinks I need to say enough to each one of these ladies. However, if I get over here and they're gonna go to the ladies' lounge and start talking about, the things that happened over here. Him and Dominique be kissing all the time. I don't know that there was any real connections on any. Was there a real connection last season? I don't remember. I know people was connecting, but were there connections? Anyway, um, Bello, another thing, Bello, he just slides this whole I had a kid last year thing out so like easily, da 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 da. Co-parenting. I don't want to hear nobody else say co-parenting. Y'all are throwing that word around way too easy. Co-parenting from Canada to Miami, like there's so much more. There's so much more. What does that look like? And you can't even gauge what it's going to look like because you don't know this woman because it was somebody who you've seen less times than you've seen Lauren. Fellow. Her issue was she didn't draw the men in. She's good looking, but a lot of the other women are. Her whole life has been for her education and her career comes across. Well, I mean, she did say that, but then so does Devon. I think you could find someone to match your fund. You know what I'm saying? I think not everybody be on the same level. Just like Ashante said, she likes to go out, like, have a cocktail or something every now and then. And oh boy, turn that into she's immature and she bees out in these streets. And I'm like, that's not what she said. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, whatever she does come across she's a nice girl. She be, wearing her pearls and things. But I mean, so did what's her name? Nicole. No, Devon and Shannon ain't it. I don't think Devon and anybody is it. I think he's going home and possibly Cardi, if I had to guess. They're all the way reaching, going through the motions to get to the end. Yeah, I don't understand that though. I don't unnecessarily understand. Um, Maybe it's in the concept, and because production does so much work trying to produce things that aren't necessarily a thing, instead of following the story, the real story, then that's why it ends up like this, and we're all like, huh. I think it's more about increasing followers and promoting their businesses or brand. Well, yeah. Because, I mean, in reality, like, if any one of us was like, what, I'm going to pack my bags and go do this show and find the love of my life, maybe it does kind of point out the things like the mistakes that you make, like in choosing. Um, like Donna over here talking about I have bad judgment when it comes to red flags. So I'm bringing my friends over here to help me with my red flags, only to be at the end like, I don't care what they say. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Vince and Lauren. Vince can't take a joke, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get the joke. Like, I didn't understand the whole how tall are you? Are you tall for real? Like, I get where they were going, but I think the joke felt flat. But I also think he gets a little defensive. Like, he's supposed to be a comedian. So, like, I don't know. I didn't get it. So maybe I'm just, I didn't get it. Lauren has 3 children and Steven has none. And Steven wants children, and I don't think Lauren wants anymore. So, and Steven is not romantic. According to the ladies, they stay emotionally unavailable. I need more on that. Hate to go to Africa. Emotionally unavailable. I hear that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes words become a little buzz and people start saying it all the time. When I think of emotionally unavailable, honestly, I think of Ashley, because I feel like Ashley has not really gotten control of her emotions based on some of the things she's been through. Sometimes you just need more time. And I feel like she needed more time at that moment, like I said. But I don't know that, like, they're calling him what did they say? He's and not insecure. What did they say about this man? Not aggressive enough, or which, I mean, what would be the trade-off? Vince. So, I'm not sure what they mean when they say emotionally unavailable. Hey, Lotus Egyptian Flower. Hey, y'all, welcome to the chat. It was diabolical that the friends asked, "What do you like about Lauren besides her looks?" They asked Vince that too. Yeah, like, how tall are you? If I say 6'2", then I guess it's 6'2". At the end of the day, she's 6 foot. And when she puts on some tall shoes, she gonna be about 6'4", 6'5". At the end of the day, if you like each other, they're both tall people. My issue is, what he said, and what he said is out the closet now. So, you're not going to refer to me as the tall bitch and then be having me sitting next to you pretending like we're going to be a thing. I'm going to go on an investigation. Let's all go investigate. What is everybody's sign? It's giving Gemini, Pisces. Well, she's a Capricorn, so I am a Capricorn also. I would have nothing to do with no Capricorn man. Absolutely not. I don't even want to have no more conversation. The Capricorn men do not have a good reputation out here in these streets. You don't think? You say, I'm guessing you said, mean Steven just ain't really interested in being in a relationship with most of the women at this cast. I think Steven is laid back, like, for real, the lifestyle of a teacher. And I think maybe that whole outside life, like, Lauren is out and about, and so is Ashante. I don't think they're that different in terms of their lifestyles. They both are moms, so they have to come home and relax at some point. You know what I'm saying? So, but their business is out, being in the public. And Steve is going to school, teaching the kids, and being chill. Y'all talk about them zodiac signs. So yeah, I would love to know. I think that, like, I don't know, for me, that just gives me a little more insight. Like I said, I don't think Lauren wants any more kids, so I don't see how this would be a very good match. Her friend said Vince. Now, this was weird. Y'all picked Vince as her number one connection. But then you gonna say, I know you can be a protector, but do I need protecting from you? I don't know if that, what? Am I gonna need protecting from you? Because he liked to argue? And Mike's, sling call you a slur? I don't know. But that in itself should have put him at the bottom of the list. I'm sorry. Steven needs to be more aggressive. Okay, assertive. That's what they said. Assertive. Steven is like, it's three of us here. Like, what do you want me to do? And Bello is a slick talker, and I agree with that. Bello is a slick talker, and she said Bello is at her top of her list. I would be curious as to why. It's he's attractive, and he's, like I said, a little bit flashy. He's got that African thing going on, and culturally, Africans a lot. I don't want to generalize, but culturally, there's like this more regal kind of energy. You know what I'm saying? So I get that part, but yeah, why? Because I don't know. I feel like he's really been giving a lot of energy to Dom, and if that's the case, then I could work. I don't. I can't be waiting to figure out what that is all about. Um, yes, Vince is a horrible match for Laura. Bella wants Lauren for her real estate contacts. This is going to sound crazy, Casey, but at least that's a reason for coming over here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if they're in the same business, then that would be definitely money moves made together. I don't know if it's a love connection, but that would make more sense to me. That's an honest, like, real reason to, be over here. Let's get them connections up. And if I find love, that's cool too. Like, she's beautiful, and so it wouldn't hurt. Like, they could do things socially. Like, if I go to an event and Bello's gonna be there, or we might as well go together, I'm not mad at it. You just sold me on it, KC. Now look what you did. We back with Bello again. Lauren and Vince have been a love-hate relationship. He was really one of her connections. My question is why? I just don't understand. I don't understand. Hey, Mari, 6245. Um, yeah, she said her top connections. Networking, yeah. I mean, if I don't find love, I might as well find something while I'm over here. It's a lot goes on over here. Ciao. I think everybody here should go home. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Cardi and Ashley, he's not, she not gonna look at him like, she has a certain aesthetic, I feel like. She has a certain aesthetic, and Cardi ain't it. And we talked about that last week, when you're looking at somebody with a, dead poodle across their shoulders, and you would take that as money, I suppose, possibly, with a Rolls Royce that he may or may not have acquired from an ex, along with the dead poodle. But, I digress. That's what she's attracted to. I think Ashley needs to go, go back, take a little more time, and reevaluate and figure out what it is you want, like, for real, for real, for real. Because this situation, and I just feel like she would never go for somebody like Cardi, because he don't look like, he might have money, but he don't look like money. So, and I think that's important to her, the aesthetic. So, her friend says something. Um, Oh, I was like, what kind of weird question is this? She asked him if he thinks that she needs any type of molding or shaping. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You think you want your friend to go over here and let Darius mold and shape her? And why would you ask that question? Well, she's got like a bunch of brothers. She should have brought her brothers over here. She says she's in the middle, and there's, I think, only one sister, maybe. I don't remember. But I think it's a whole bunch of boys over there. And, I'm kind of like curious as to why anybody doesn't see through Darius's game, but to each his own. I can't. Um, yeah, that's gonna get her into trouble. I feel like she needs to, yeah, fall back a little bit. Fall back and stop being mesmerized by the flashiness of it all because it's just all fake. Um, for the family episode, yeah, she should bring all her brothers and not this friend who's asking about her being molded by somebody. I don't ever want to go into a relationship feeling like I need to be molded into anything. Now, you can be an asset and help me grow, and hopefully, I can offer you the same for whatever we need each other for. But being molded I just didn't like that. I didn't like that she phrased it that way. Um, Darius over here pivoting, say nothing. What is it? I pivot. You pivot. He be pivoting a lot, according to him. He's extraordinary, and he pivots on things, especially when it comes to relationship. No one in that scene is ready for love. No, I don't know what Cardi is out here doing. I'm confused. I would love to have seen, him in a relationship with Day. Did maybe he needs somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Because he needs to be directed to do things. Him and Dom, him and Don. And then I said it again. Dominique, Cardi and Dominique, I feel like have a genuine connection. Um, I just don't know that it's a love connection, but I feel like they really like each other. Like, he's her dog too, like homie. Um, Darius is the type that Ashley likes. Yep. Even though she knows the outcome is gonna be the same for her in other relationships. Maybe she's not the only one to do that because seems like what's her name is over here doing the same thing. Donna. Donna brought her titties out. We see them, girl. If we gonna, go in on Emily, we gotta. I'm not going in on her, but they're out. She seems to be bringing her titties out in a little suit. Most of the women here are doing that, bringing their titties out or doing something different. Yeah, Donna said as soon as she starts to like somebody, she ignores red flags. So Donna had these bad relationships, and then she waited all these years just to come back over here and ignore red flags again. That's, I think, maybe what we were talking about. What is the whole concept of these relationships on Ready to Love? Maybe it's for you to kind of take a look at how you be moving. Not the two-piece skin and biscuit. Well, this is the thing to go to Africa. Emily's boobs were so big. You know what I'm saying? I used to work at a hair salon in the mall. And one of my really good friends was this teeny tiny thing. And so we went shopping one time and we tried on the same pants, these like satin little, short shorts. And when I tell you, me in them short shorts and her in them short shorts was telling two different stories. You know what I mean? So I could not go somewhere and call myself at work with them short shorts on. And she looked perfectly fine. And I think, Donna Emily is a fashion designer and is perfectly aware of what she's doing when she put her titties up on a rack like that. But so is Donna. She got her, all the way cleavage open. And, she distracted a man enough, if that's what she came to do, to show her man like, hey, with the shoulder pads. Well, listen, it's very important that you create a particular silhouette. And so I appreciate that Donna knows her lines and knows how to accentuate the things that, she feels good about. And, you got to create the certain kind of dimension. So if shoulder pads makes her dimensions more appealing, then, it's a fashion thing, girl. Donna's ignoring all the red flags. She absolutely is. She was like, "What? It's okay." Um, I felt the same way, Casey. Donna is into Vince because he's the only one on the show that showed interest in her, and yeah, I agree. Um, because what has he done? Like again, he's got kids and is clearly not necessarily looking for marriage. I don't know if that's what she's looking for. She doesn't have any kids. And when you have somebody that 'cause she's trying to move in 3 months and he needs a couple few years to see what's up. So their timeline don't need to even go together. And again, y'all were doing all this talking and I talk to Vince every day. Y'all meeting at the gym. And so then what is this conversation like? Because this is a show about dating and relationships. If anything, you get the like green light to go ahead and ask all of the questions that you would never ask someone in real life. So when you get to, are you trying to get married and what does that look like? Like how long is it going to be before you're ready to do that? And do you want any more kids? This is giving you the green light to do just that. So I don't know what Donna is even looking for. And yeah, you're right. He's the one that I guess she sees as a genuine connection. I don't know what Steven is doing over here with Donna. He knows that's not what he's gonna be doing. She was gonna get chipped plus Vince. Now I thought about that too. Okay, chopped. That I had a feeling that's what you meant. I thought about that too. I thought that when the whole debating conversation came up and she was like, well, you ain't gotta talk or whatever she said to the ex. Um, I was like, maybe she likes to debate. So for her, that's a thing, that she's into. You know, we all do it, have a tendency to look through relationships in from a frame of what we like. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't like all that back and forth. And I have an ex that used to like to make up debates just for no reason, and I would just quit because I'm like, I'm not going back and forth with you just for the sake of doing it. Even with the whole 6'2" thing, he could have laughed that off and been like, nah, I'm 6'2". But he was like, what do you mean? What kind of context are we talking about? So I relax, relax. They tried to be funny, and then, it really wasn't even that funny. Um, Steven said he was going to put her in his phone as Donna Banks. Steven is talking shit in front of her friends. I really think that's what that is. Steven was over there just trying to like make her friends, think she's it. That's not even it. Clearly somebody is number three, top three. He said it was Shannon, which was a lie. Is it Donna? I don't know. Steven is, making up things as he goes along. I like to get away. Everybody has claimed they got 4 connections when really nobody has any connections. Donna is viewed as judgy. Maybe that's what, again, what they have in common, how they go back and forth and, you know. Anyway, she says she wants to be living together in 3 months. Why do we do that? What about some person makes you think in 3 months you want to live together with them? Girl, that's a red flag on her part. So we need to stop doing that. 3 months is too fast, girl. Somebody asked, is she unhoused? That was so funny. He thinks 2 years is an appropriate amount of time before you start thinking about whether or not. I mean, I guess that depends. I think that's an appropriate amount of time too. I think in 2 years you do kind of get to know each other for real, know each other's habits, and decide what's next. You know what I'm saying? What he said, finances. I don't think that's going to be a problem for them, but I think 3 months is crazy. You don't necessarily have to wait 2 years, but good grief. How do you get somebody out once you let them move in 3 months and then you're like, no, I don't want you here. Can you leave, please? Donna's friends, they think Steven is the best one for her, but she said she don't care what they said. She already told them that Vince was her top. We talked about it, and I don't know why they're picking wrong. They're picking because neither one of them makes sense. But if you were sitting there, at least Steven and her are on the same wavelength in terms of, relationship timelines. And then it was the thriller from Manila. The biological clocks are ticking. So many want to rush the men. Salute to Vince for standing on business. I think Donna is probably one of these people who does she really want to have children though? Like she's saying that, but she's also still focused on um going to school and getting these degrees, and you don't just fall out and do what, like you didn't going to school to get these degrees to just then sit down and and he has. I don't necessarily think I want to have children with a man that says, I mean, I'll do it. I already got kids, and if I got to do it, I'll do it. It's not like he's like, yeah, I think I could do it again. I'd be open to having other kids. He's kind of saying that, but he follows up with, but I'm perfectly fine with it the way it is. And so I think Donna, I don't know that she really, that's what she has in her mind either. These women that have these lists of things and how they're supposed to turn out. And first, I'm going to do this. By the time I'm 25, I'm here. When I'm 35, I'm here. And those are usually the women that get to 35 and they're like, uh-oh, there's no man. I mean, husband. I've never had a husband, but I have 3 children. So judge me if you want to, but I didn't have these issues about biological clocks ticking. You have to make a decision about if you want to be a mother or not, because being a wife and being a mother are 2 different, completely different things. That's just my opinion. Steve Chase has changed the story from 1 year with Ashani to 2 years with Donna. Yeah, because Donna could quite possibly be number 4. He had to switch her out for Shannon because she said she was trying to move in 3 months. Okay, Dom, her connections are Bello, Cardi, and Devon. One thing I'm going to say about Dom, she hasn't added or subtracted anybody. She's kept the same connections this whole time. So I can't be mad at her because from, Misfit Island, as they wanted to call it over there on the Access Lounge, her and Cardi and Devon been, on point the whole time. I think Bello is probably, if his lifestyle is real, is probably closer to her lifestyle. Problem is, like, I think that was KC mentioned earlier, that she is not about to dish, unless she got some eggs somewhere, girl, she might have some eggs somewhere frozen. I'm not trying to age shame this lady, but I'm just saying her kids are grown. And so you're over here asking her to have a son. And, these days, wealthy people can come make up anything they want. So, you said exactly. Now they're rushing because their life didn't end up the way they thought by the time they got to a certain age. I don't think that works for anyone. Dominique's friends were over the top. You think? Huh. I thought Lauren's friends were more over the top than Dominique's friends. Now, I'm not mad at them sitting there, like Cardi said, with them jackets on their shoulder. They came to handle business. So, who comes in? She's, Cardi comes in. Can I say this, Cardi? Publix got roses. There are different various bouquets of flowers. You could get 3 for $12. Now, for $25, you could have came in there with a decent bouquet of flowers for these ladies. Do not ever go anywhere else with this one single rose. I hate that. It reminds me of the club, the guy at the club with the bucket. What do you want me to do with one rose? Her interaction with him at the meetup suggested that she had eliminated Devon. I think so. Yeah, and this is because, listen, I don't think that Devon necessarily can see past his sexual attraction to this lady. When she was over there at the club or wherever her and Cardi went, like I said, he's probably her dog too, her homie. She's just not gonna say that. She just has a very different way of, serving up her positive energy. Um, her and Bello clearly have something. They literally like physical with each other every time they see each other. So there's a connection there. I think this guy got so full of himself thinking that he was somehow going to charm her. Now he's sending flowers to her job. That's a nice thing to do because they said, production be giving them things to gift. So I think he's genuine with that. Um, Dom's ego won't let her lose. Remember, her and Devon were on the chopping block. Yeah, in the beginning. Um, so her being upset about Devon couldn't tell her that she was the top. I feel like he could have done a better job at saying that. At the end of the day, these two just said it. It made him look a fool. You know what I'm saying? She has been his top. Every time he has gone to that deliberation, he has said, "Oh, Dom is my boo." So what is you stammering over here now? I think now he thinks he has four connections, so he about to play games, and he played himself. Um, do I think she ever wanted him? No. I don't think she wants Cardi like that either. But I think for some reason Cardi must be fun to talk to because they all say the same thing about him. Um, yeah, 7-Eleven roses. Ugh, stop it. Um, anyway, she let him have it. Last week she was like, I love how he's all the way in the process. He wasn't in enough for her this week. Um, what his name Cardi was like, I don't feel sorry for him because we all knew that when those ladies came over here with them sleeves out of their jackets, that they were going to mean business. Every time Devon comes into this, meetup with these friends, he keeps talking about the process instead of talking about what his real feelings are. Steven will go over there and say what he really feels. Cardi is two and a possible. So, he's nice and he whatever he be saying over there, don't be a whole lot of too much of anything. But he always has, him and John have had this thing. I think you're right, Casey. Like the Misfit Island people have a connection, based on the way that, or no, in fact that they were almost all let go. So maybe they should, maybe that's part of their bond, like you said. But anyway, this man Devon came over here and messed up the whole thing. He should have just said this lady was his top, but he couldn't do that, so it backfired on him. Um, they left us with it to be continued. You say Bella has a energy toward her, a sexual energy towards her. He see, okay, I agree with you. In that Bello is serious about his religion and he's serious about having a son. That's for sure. And he's only 38. So he's got time to, play. I feel like his attraction to Ashante would probably be like more what road he was going down, except for the fact that she's not about to convert to Islam. Maybe she should introduce him to her friend. She didn't say her friend was married. She said she was Muslim. So, maybe that can be a thing. Is that against girl code? Like, girl, I don't want him. I'm not gonna be a Muslim. Maybe you can go out with him. Um, Cardi is whack, but Dom got excited when she found out Cardi got money. They all want somebody with money. They all got money. I feel like these all these ladies like got their own. So I feel like they all like have that desire to have somebody that's at least on a certain level, at least on the same level. So yeah, they left us with a to be continued, and um, I feel like Devon, his time is up. I know I seen everybody at that vacation house except Devon, and I did not see Cardi. So I'm gonna guess that those two are on the bottom, and either both of them are getting the boot, because we can get boot them off. Neither one of them have a real connection over here. Either both of them are going, or at least Devon is going because he done pissed off his one connect, but he pissed off both of his connections, and the other two are just made up in his head, so that's not going to help. Um, can y'all believe Darius made it all the way to the vacation? Do you think it's because he's a to be actor, and I think it's a good idea to keep him over here? The getaway will reveal everything. I hope so. I hope so. What's revealed so far is that nobody is connected with anybody. So, I don't even know if anybody's like, well, Dom and Bello are kissing. So we'll see, y'all. But yeah, that's it. That's all. Tomorrow is Monday. I'll be over here with the Real Housewives of Potomac. Um, Cardi is a friend to hang out with, hair salon with. Steven is the one to hang out at the store with, and Devon just hanging. None of them are visible matches for the ladies. I agree. I mean, that was my thumbnail. They can all go. Let's just start over. Thank you. Next. Anyway, y'all, thank you for coming to hang out with me. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, if you're a Potomac girl, you can meet me over here tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We do this all over again. Bye, y'all.